The provinces all offer help in some form. It's pretty variable across the country, and also depending on the region that you live in, because not only is healthcare a provincial jurisdiction, but within that, for instance, Ontario has 14 what are called CCACs, or Community Care Access Centers, and that's the place that you go if you need help with a parent who's in the later stages or middle stages of Alzheimer's or dementia. So you would contact them. They would do an assessment. They would either come to your home or do it over the phone, and that's really your point of entry into the system. In other provinces, those things are called by different names. In BC, it's the Health Authority. But generally their role is the same. They're kind of your first point of access. And, if you asked your doctor who to contact in your area, that would be the best, probably, way to do it. It's really variable, but for instance, community care access centers, they tend to be geared towards people's physical disabilities, right? So, if you can't walk around or you can't make meals, or, the problem with people with Alzheimer's or dementia is that sometimes that's not the problem. They may have trouble making meals, but they also have trouble eating meals. So, that they're oftentimes, those organizations are not set up to provide someone to sit down with your parent or your spouse and make sure they eat, right? So I think that they all provide some level of service, but it's pretty limited. One of the things is knowing how to talk to the government. So those community care access centers or health authorities, you have to learn the touch phrases that make them go, oh, okay, we could have a problem here, because you have to understand. So if you end up in hospital, it's going to cost them about $862 a day on average. So they don't want people to go into hospitals. You've got to phrase it in a way that they understand. So you say, instead of saying something like, my mother, I just feel like she needs some help bathing. You say things like, I fear that my mother is going to fall getting out of the bathtub, because fall clicks off that box in their head that goes, hip fracture, that's going to cost us a lot of money, So you really do have to learn to put it in terms that make them say, oh, warning bell, we should provide some care to this person. Also, of course, you can supplement care with private care. So sometimes sort of piggybacking services. So you might have Meals on Wheels come in, which isn't a government agency, but, is a nonprofit. And then you could arrange to have someone there to ensure that your parent eats that meal, right? And you may have to pay, you probably will have to pay out of pocket for that service, but it might keep them in their home. Well, private caregivers are, they're that other level of service, and if you can afford it, they're a fantastic resource. Well, first of all, governments mostly use private care when they're going into your home. It's actually a private agency they're hiring. They're not public employees. The people who come in and, help in your home, maybe provide personal support services like light housekeeping or meal making or whatever, even nursing. Those are private agencies. So you can hire them yourself as well. You're going to pay, you're going to pay anywhere from $20 to $30 an hour for personal support, and $60 or $70 an hour for nursing care. But I think you have to weigh those costs against the costs of moving your parent to for instance, an assisted living home or someplace like that. So they can definitely help people maintain parents or loved ones in their home as long as possible. And they will coordinate care too. The private services, they'll look at what you're getting publicly and say, okay, well, let's arrange these services so that we back up those public things that are available to you. So maybe you get 2 hours a week for bathing care. Well, they may say, okay, well, if you want an extra bath per week, we can go in one more time, and we can provide these other services that will help smooth things out and keep that person safe and cared for longer.